Let me start by welcoming all of you, my colleagues who are working on these issues with me in the ministry, Secretary Manoj Joshi, Rupaji, Joint Secretary, all the other officials of the ministry. I'm particularly pleased to see and acknowledge and appreciate that Professor Dr. Jack Sim, the founder of the World Toilet Organization, is virtually joined with us. Both his physical presence and his continuing inspiration is something we all acknowledge and are deeply grateful for. Veena Reddy, Mission Director USAID, our other long-term collaborators, Sulabh International, Hindustan, Unilever, UNICEF, BMGF, ISC, FICCI, as well as all the other partners who have joined us and those who are contemplating an association with us. I want to try and build on what Mr. Joshi said. I think there are some givens. One, that this is the world's largest sanitation program. On that, I don't think there's any doubt. I also think that the transformation in terms of behavioral change that is being witnessed and quantified, I think that is also a given. What is perhaps not fully comprehended, and I don't want to be misunderstood, I'm not saying that we haven't done much or that we've done too much, is that the sheer scale of this endeavor requires some reflection. That a project which was conceived by the government can transform itself and become a people's project or a Jan Andolan is a remarkable feat, and it has become a people's movement. But even when we talk of a people's movement, you talk about individuals. I think Sadhviji, whom I've had the privilege of knowing for many years and whom I admire, and she and Swamiji's work, she spoke about HSR. I've heard that term earlier. When I was ambassador to the UN in Geneva, in the subcommission, we came up with the concept of CSR. Now everybody takes that as a given, thinking it has been around all along. No, it's not been around all along. We turned around and said if human rights is something for which the state is being held to account, then the corporate entities who are largely at the forefront of the economic activity in democracy, certainly, I mean, they must have a responsibility. That is when the 2% came out. Now we have HSR, something we can think of. But what I think we need to very carefully reflect on is the scale. And the transformation on the scale, the two taken together, will provide you a reasonably good idea of where we should go. I think where we should go is already quantified. All of you have used terms like ODF, ODF plus, garbage-free cities, we are using water security, all these terms. You know, I have the privilege of being part of another ministry, which is the Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry. And when you look at scale, one of the figures I'm very happy to put out is that every day, 60 million people go to the petrol bunk every morning or during the day to fill up. To me, therefore, the cleanliness of the toilets, the maintenance, the quality at the 88,000 retail outlets in the energy sector, the petrol outlets, it becomes a very important factor. Now, it's not that it's been easy. Now, when the Prime Minister started this in 2014, and I'm talking about his addressing the nation from the ramparts of the Red Fort, and he said it is it should be our dream that when we celebrate the Mahatma's 150th birth anniversary on 2nd October 2019, India should be open defecation free. A lot of my friends in the political, I don't want to take names, but who are broadly described as the liberal, part of it, saying, is this an issue that the Prime Minister should take up? So a lot of simple-minded people like me asked, and why not? He said, no, this is where you talk about geostrategic, and I think that's the fundamental mistake that we made. That we were not able to destigmatize. I don't know whether I'm using the correct word, but a lot of the pre-2014 narrative on sanitation was stigmatized. You didn't want to talk about the filth or the problem that I don't mean you, me and you were creating. And I think Manoj put it very well when he talked about waste processing. The toilet is only the visible manifestation of the individual's place in his home and in the marketplace. The fundamental thing is that you had a situation where you were producing many times more waste than you were capable of processing. So we had a situation in 2014, Rupa keeps giving me a figure of 17% because she believes on the statistics given by the states more than I do. But I'm much older than all of you, so I can tell you, as a student of history, I ask myself the question, who's writing the history? You get a good idea there, you know how much to discount. When the states are giving you a figure, then the states will say, I've done actually a little better than I did. So I take their figure of 16, 17%, put a 1 or 2% deflator on it, and I'm very happy when I use the figure 14, 15%. But the real gem in all this is not the fight on 14 or 17%. It's the first time you had a national level acknowledgement that you were only reprocessing or processing 14, 15% or 16% of the waste you were producing. Once you have the acknowledgement, rest should follow. Many of you have talked about the health benefits, how much it helps the individual and public health. Also, something far more serious, environmental effect. And I like what Manoj said. You've got this huge legacy dump sites there, but they are not there. People don't like to go there. I don't know how many of you have been to Gazipur, or those two in Mumbai yesterday we were talking about with the Chief Minister. Deonar and Bulun. How many of you do go there? I go to Mumbai twice or thrice a month. I don't go there. So what was happening was that you had a problem and you decided to push that problem either under the carpet or behind a green flag, when you have I liked what Jack Sim said. Beijing had the same problem. Then they had an Olympic. They wanted it to look good. And then suddenly they had. Look, these are all human contexts in which we discuss these things. So I think the first, and I think it's brilliant, because it's been tried in India and it failed. Mahatma Gandhi tried it in 1916, much before this whole call for independence came. He went around Varanasi, which, by the way, is a success story of another kind, and I can come to that in a minute. He said, during a lecture which he was giving to the Banaras Hindu College, he said, I went around looking for God last night. Went around the temples and everywhere. I couldn't find God. What he meant was he went around looking for cleanliness and he couldn't find it. From 1916, all right, you can say till 1947, we were not the controllers of our destiny, but for heaven's sake, after 1947, you were. But the mindset it generated, you deal with things which are visible, optically there, and on which you can rejoice. Where you're creating this huge problem on sanitation and you just wish it away. Mr. Modi tried it in Gujarat. He succeeded during his tenure. And that extended period of time provided a model. Then, when he became Prime Minister in 2014, He made that statement on making India open defecation free by 2nd October 2019. And the good news is we succeeded. And we succeeded. One state, there was a problem. I'm very happy. I'm not going to go into the politics of it. Now the whole country is open defecation free. But the better news is that ODF title is not a self-certification process. It requires third-party verification, and that third-party verification, I know in cases, is being withdrawn. So at the end of the day, your strongest insurance policy on the sanitation, on clean toilets, is what I call the safeguard that is provided by the beneficiaries of that behavioral change. In other words, if you have a clean toilet, it's not just the municipal corporation or the urban local body, it is everyone involved. Now, it's very interesting to say that the state is the repository of all the wisdom and the state is the repository of... India is not that kind of a country anymore. For heaven's sake, I mean, I'm not trying to make an economic, political point out of this. We are the 5th largest economy, and no matter what happens, you will be in the top 3 economies within the next short-term period, not mid-term. We will be a $4 trillion economy by 2014 December, 2023 December. The 2 economies ahead of us are 4.1 and 4.3 trillion. You look at their growth rates and look at yours, it doesn't require knowledge of rocket science. Why am I saying all this? Because Manoj brought it back to the focus on cities. Yes, your urbanization is taking place at a robust, massive rate. That urbanization will require much better facilities. And if we had problems in the cities earlier, it was not because of the poor people who lived there, but it was due to the poverty of the policies we had. And sanitation, toilets are an integral part of that transformation that we are seeking in India. Now, I want to go from this for a moment to how pleased I am to see what has taken place. I don't want to sound in any ways, I don't want to use the word, but pontificatory, but I was asking my young friend when he joined Hindustan Unilever, so he said 2011. Well, I wanted to tell him that when I joined Hindustan Lever in 1973, and we were dealing with main lines, one was detergents, then the fast food division had. I rejoice at the success that companies had, and its claim to success even then was its information on rural space, rural marketing, and they were able to utilize that. So today, when the marketing director comes for a function like this, I think that is the change in India. So I want to compliment you when you bring out this publication. I was asking Rupa before I saw it today, and he mentioned you and the work you've done, and Secretary and I were talking about it. But this needs to be scaled up. It's not just Hindustan Unilever and Mumbai. I think it can be Hindustan Unilever and other thing, but I think we have other private sector units, and I'm very happy to make sure that my oil marketing companies get involved in this. I agree with Manoj that you come a very long way. There are toilets, but are we satisfied? No, I'm not satisfied. Do you want the toilet to remain just a toilet? The toilet has done a great thing for our, by the way, when this World Toilet Day was being conceptualized, I was also there. I mean, before the SDGs were that work, I was ambassador to and PR to the UN then. But I've seen the change. But the change today is far more comprehensive and integrated. Now the Sustainable Development Goals, when you build a toilet, what do? You deal with SDG 5 also. Because it lends dignity to the girl child. When you get dignity for the girl child, the rest follows. And I think that is the real story. Now, if India can come in, and this is where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I've had these discussions with your senior management, including with both Bill and Melinda Gates, etc. They are very happy to take these success stories and take them outside. Whether it is toilets, whether it is clean energy, ethanol, all these are part of the somewhat feeble and I think late attempt that we are trying to bring in after all that climate devastation has been done. And we have to fight that, and therefore this is very bad. I also want to say I was a great admirer of the founder of the Sulabh, this thing I've had Dr. Bindeshwari Pathak, I've had many rounds of discussion, not now, years ago. And I think some of the things that Manojji was discussing, including utilizing your outreach also to expand it, maybe make clean drinking water available. Some of these are pilot projects. I think we're going to put them into motion. You know, in my other ministry, we use the term technology agnostic, which means we don't choose a technology which might only suit you or my friend in UNICEF. We said we are technology agnostic. Bring us a good thing, we're on. I mean, the message I'm giving here is, for heaven's sake, we want more and more of civil society and NGOs to join us. And believe me, whatever else you do, and I have the privilege now of being associated with two ministries which make a difference to the people's life, but I've done civil aviation, commerce and industry earlier. I'll tell you the kind of satisfaction you will get from adding to the qualitative, perceptional difference that you will bring in the sector, nothing else will give you. I mean, I say this out of total conviction that this is an area where you can touch the lives of people and the impact will be really satisfying, because you put in so little and you get so much more out of it. And I think that is the change which I see, which I think we've come a long way. But I agree with Manoj, sometimes he overstates the achievement, so I get a little worried. But that's a good, game that we play. But I think we've really done very well in this area, but we need to push a little more to get it this way. But at the end of the day, Manoj, you are expecting, and maybe I'm expecting, having spent 39 years as a professional diplomat outside, those cities achieve those levels of visible utility service. By the way, in many respects, whether it's our airports, etc., toilet facilities and other, we are far ahead of even the first world now. I mean, I say this not out of any point scoring that I'm doing, but I'm saying we have traveled that distance. And today I think the rural space does not lend itself to justification, because yesterday we were at a Cities 2 event and I said we've got what, 4,900 urban local bodies or 4,900 cities. You add to that about 5,000 or so statutory towns which the states have to register. Census town. Census town. You add to that, that gives you an idea of the scale of the issue we have to address. But again, the kind of enthusiasm and the kind of electricity I see, I mean, look, today this program was supposed to start, I think, at 11. I requested an earlier start because I have a meeting with the bosses taking a meeting. So I said, can you make it early? Everybody's here. I mean, I was a little late because I was in the VC, but 2 minutes or 5 minutes late. But this shows commitment. So therefore, I want to thank all of you. There's so much more I can talk about. I think there are 3 messages I want to leave you. One, time has come for us to pull out the thing. When I tell Rupa or Manoj, they always tell me koi resources ki kami nahi hai. I've never had that doubt. But that's my position on everything. Show me a good project, bankable project, resources are available. If not available with us, they're available with other people. Okay? Secondly, don't hesitate in drawing in those aspects of civil society and the private sector who've hitherto not been involved. Don't hesitate in that now. I think even if it means a little bit of campaigning for a better interactive urban space on toilets. I'm speaking to toilets. Second thing, this has to be now integrated with all our remaining work. Bioremediation, what is it called, that legacy dump sites, making sure we go from 76% to 100%. Utilize the private sector there also. Because it's nobody's doing anybody a favor. Today, when you do that bioremediation, you're producing energy. That's the point. By the way, we took a meeting with the Chief Minister of, virtual meeting with Chief Minister of Maharashtra yesterday. I was very happy. I think we need to, on an emergency basis, I wish I had a little more margin of persuasion with the Chief Minister of Delhi, but that's a different story. All I can say is we are moving on all these fronts. And if some of these things we start doing at what you call in mission mode, it is in mission mode. But I want to send this message out. I think when World Toilet Day was started, at that stage, I mean, I welcomed it, that initiative taken by two countries, I think, in the GA. But, you know, we've been part of all these initiatives otherwise. And I think we are one of the biggest supporters. I don't know where all World Toilet Day is being celebrated or being utilized, but it will be good to do an idea on how many other world capitals you've had a gathering of private sector, civil society, government, etc. And Rupa tells me more than 1,000 individuals and entities are joined in today's program. I have a feeling that whatever listing you draw up, India will be right at top in terms of the seriousness with which we take it. So thank you very much, and please have a very good day. And I'm sorry I took a little longer than I'd intended to, but as I said, on all the work I do, I think the results here can be much faster. Thank you very much.